Thank you, and I want to also extend my appreciation to you, Chair Landrieu, and Ranking Member Murkowski. You heard us raise this issue in any hearing that was remotely close to talking about propane, and I'm glad we have one dedicated to this issue. You know, in Wisconsin, cold and snowy winters are a way of life, and while we pride ourselves in making the most of winter, it's really a harsh time of year, and every household in the state depends on having a stable and affordable access to heat. This year, Wisconsin residents faced a crisis when the price of propane skyrocketed and they couldn't access the fuel that they use to heat their homes and their businesses. Like Minnesota, approximately 250,000 Wisconsinites use propane to heat their homes, and thousands more use propane to heat their small businesses. And they rely on this in our cold and harshest weather. Families facing the prospect of not being able to get propane this winter decided on things like whether to drain their water pipes to prevent them from freezing and go stay with relatives or neighbors. Many counties in the state of Wisconsin opened emergency warming shelters. Propane dealers were unable to get fuel to deliver to the families and businesses that they've served for years and years. Resorts and businesses preparing for the peak snowmobile season, as well as the international crowd that comes to northern Wisconsin for the Birkie Binder, they were faced with really devastating choices, like having to close their doors during some of the busiest and most profitable weeks of their year. Many residents and business owners and propane dealers called my office to ask what could be done to avert the severe supply shortages and address the rapid price spikes. And over the many weeks during which this crisis unfolded, I, along with my colleagues, called on numerous agencies to help struggling residents. And while help came, it did not come easy and it did not come fast enough. And while I appreciate the good faith effort of the administration, I think this crisis exposed two major flaws. First, the Department of Energy and the federal government as a whole did not have the plans or the tools in place to respond to this crisis or anticipate it. And second, this country didn't have adequate propane supplies in reserve to respond to a crisis of this magnitude. So I look forward to working with my colleagues and this committee on legislation and other measures to address these problems to ensure Wisconsin residents and businesses don't have to worry about whether they can heat their homes and when another cold winter descends on the Midwest this next year. And I also want to thank our panel. We do have a wide range of experts, but I'm particularly pleased that Wisconsin is represented by Mr. Gary France.